Good morning all, hope you enjoyed yesterday's video on the supercharger versus turbo. A few things I forgot to mention, to be honest. I didn't talk much about engine temps. Turns out the engine temps were pretty good on both vehicles the whole time, within a few degrees of what my car was doing. So I don't think engine temps are really an issue. When you're on boost with the turbo, it gets hot for that period, but then it cools down pretty much straight away and follows the rest of us. Fuel, we found actually the supercharger used the most yesterday. It was running on the beach for a long time, and the turbocharger car actually used less than my car yesterday. So don't know how much you can put on that though, because that depends on who was in high range, who's in low, all that sort of thing. How long the car was idling, all that stuff. So anyway, I don't think that is going to be an issue. Harrop supercharger's been around for quite some time, very reliable. We'll just have to wait and see with the turbos. Everything looks good so far, but we won't know until we've really given it some more stick, and who better to do it, Ilya. So we'll move on. Today we're supposed to be about coil lifts versus the lower control arm lift. So I've driven both cars. Only issue is it's raining and it looks like it's going to set in all day, so I don't know how much of this that I can do, but I'm going to try my best. If nothing else, I'll explain the two and the way I think they behave on-road, off-road, height-wise, and in an economy sense too. So yeah, hopefully this weather calms down a bit and we can show you some more action on the tracks. We're doing Beachport to Nora Carina, so we're going the other way, what we didn't do yesterday, because we know there's some good little play areas in there. All right, cook up brekkie, air down, and let's go. All right, let's start off with the lower control arm lift. Traditionally, this is supplied by OnTrack, and it's a Nissan factory arm where you can put, well, they modify the bottom of it, so it raises the car from below the strut and lifts it up. And there's two variants. There's a light or a medium. Ooh, another one. And depending on whether you've got, say if you've got no bar at all, you'd go the light. Say you've got a Predator bar, you'd also go the light. Predator bar and winch, you got up by the sound of it. You'd go the medium, and pretty much any other bar, with and without winch, you'd go the medium as well. And then at the back it's coils. So the back of the car is the same for everything, it's just all coils. Now you'll notice if you have one of these lifts, if you go and have a look closely at it, there's a stamp on there, and that means it's been engineered. So there's, sorry, a bit of action happened in front of the camera there. That means it's been engineered. So if you wanted to go and get the 4.085 GVM upgrade, you've got the, that's the basis of it. All you need to do is add some weight to the car and billet rear arms as well. Little Suzuki going. I'll show you what the arm looks like. Look at this nice little example down here. All right.
Okay, this is what we're talking about. This is basically the factory Nissan arm, and then that part there is what's been modified to give you the lift from underneath the car.
You got it? No. Almost made it. When you do this type of lift, it's not a bad idea to do the upper control arms as well. When you lift 50 millimeters in Y62, the caster goes from about 4.5 to 2.5. So then when you put the upper control arms in, you can achieve better than 3.5, even the 4 sometimes. So pretty much you can return the geometry of the car back to factory, and that's going to help when you're on a cambered road sort of thing, or high speed and you're overtaking. It just gives a better feel and sturdiness to the car. For the past probably 2.5 years, I reckon, we've been trying to develop another, from ground up, lower control arm lift. Started with this one with the 1-inch lift, and I've done a couple of things to, I guess, help the geometry and put some guards in front of the CV boots. To be honest, I'm so busy with everything else, I haven't had a chance to continue developing it, and it's kind of gone on the back burner, so I'm not even sure if that's ever going to get anywhere, but I'll show you for interest's sake. It's still going. tip that. Oh, he'll be checking his pants. Holy moly. Alright, back to what I was going to shoot. Over here. This is a dash lower control arm. Each one is color coded, so this is Blue's third prototype. You can see the lift is achieved in the same way with a bracket underneath the strut, and then we've got some guards as there to try and protect the boots. Little Susie down with all the patrols, playing hard. Alright, let's start talking about coil lifts and look at this DNA car here. This is Steve's car, it's the first one we did a coil lift on. And there we go. So what we've done to this car, still factory lower control arms, haven't even put uppers on it, to be honest, and I'll talk about that in a minute. This is a tough dog 40mm coil lift. So what we do is depressurize the HBMC system. Need a special tool from Nissan for that. Then crack the strut apart. It's not that easy to do, but once you know what you're doing, it's all right. Pull the strut apart, put a coil back in. We've been using the tough dogs. You can use other ones, but we target a 30 to 40mm lift is what we've been achieving, because must admit we just really like the way these cars seem to full drive with the lower lifts. So that's what we do, target 30 to 40mm, put the coil back in, pressurize the HBMC system up. Generally we do at around 2.5 bar. If it's a really heavy car we might do a little bit more. But the upside of this is that the actual coil is stronger, has a better string rate. And that means if you've got a heavier front end, like for example, where's it? Y62 down here somewhere, that's got an ARB bar heavy, a winch heavy, and it's a worn winch too. And then it's got all that turbo stuff. That weighs a ton. So even to the point where the passenger side of the car is like, 10mm lower than the driver's side, because of all the pipe work and all that sort of thing. So having a coil that you can pick to get the height right gives you so much more strength, and it sort of preserves the HBMC system. It's not all upsides though, so it is a stiffer spring. That means when you're off-road, it tends to lift wheels more often. It tends to be a much firmer ride. So if you want a supple ride, the same pretty much way as the Y62 comes from factory, go for the lower control arm lift, like the OnTrack kit basically. But if you want a firmer ride, or you're going to put a lot of weight on your car, or just economically, the coil lifts are cheaper than doing all of the upper control, the lower control arm lift. Because we've found, if you stick to that 30-40mm, you don't have to do upper control arms. So it's just basically coils and a wheel alignment. And some specialist oil, which costs a fortune. But besides that, you just got to decide if you want that factory fill, or if you're a rock hopper, I think you'll do better with the lower control arm lift. But on road, maybe a coil lift. It's like an aeroplane. Alright, on to the next play bit. Right, we did have a blast on the track, but I couldn't show you because it just rained the whole time, and it's still raining, and it's going to rain all night and all day tomorrow. So I've still got to tell you about how you achieve a 4-inch lift with both the lower control arm lift and the spring lift. So I just got to wait until this rain goes, and then I'll go and show you Type 62 that's got that as well, and we'll talk about down travel and all those sorts of things. So just put up with us a little bit. It's coming, the info is coming. And if you want to do both, it looks like this. Can we see the K-frame space as we can? So that's how you get extra 40mm at the back to match up the front. So it rained all night, all yesterday. Sorry there's not much trip footage, but that's just the way it is. We've had a break in the rain this morning and everyone's just like quickly packed up and gone. So that's, I guess, the Coil lift versus HBMC lift. And as Charlie's car's got both and you have 4-inch lift, there are downsides though. Like if you lift them too high, you get less down travel. If you have too firm a spring, you get no tuck up into the guard. So it's really balancing out what's right for you, to be honest. Like if you want a GVM upgrade, you kind of have to go for the 4.085 with the OnTrack GVM upgrade kit. So okay, context. We're back at Eddie, and I must admit I'm that impressed with how Steve's car went and the simplicity of that suspension. I'm actually, like, I loved my OnTrack suspension, 2-inch, which is like the perfect lift for full driving pretty much. I've done my own little 1-inch Smurf lift little practice. I think I need to experience what like the 30mm coil lift is, because I haven't owned a car with it in it. So guess what's happening? Suspension's coming out and we're going to put the Tough Dog, a target 40mm, but it's a 30mm lift in, and we're going to see what that's like. So I did not see that coming.